Good evening, everybody. Very happy to be here. I'm going to present to you Tzu Chi Foundation and Environmental Protection. My understanding of Tzu Chi Foundation's work on environmental protection would be my specific area of focus. Now, I come from India. India is a country with a great history, thousands of years of history. So if you see, these buildings up there were the monuments that were built 2,000 years ago. The one right here, this is a dam called Kallanai. It was built 2,000 years ago, and even today it irrigates a majority part of South India. Even today it is very important. And this is what the Mughal era gave us. Of course, we all know Taj Mahal. This is Humayun Tomb. This is Qutub Minar. So this is what the Mughals gave us 400, 500, 600, 800 years ago. And welcome to the British era. The British gave us some of the greatest monuments. For example, this is Ripon Building in Chennai. This is Central Railway Station in my city. This is Victoria Hall, Calcutta. Or this is India Gate. So these are some of the greatest monuments of India which we received from the emperors, the Mughals, and the Britishers, the colonizers. Now, let's see what the Indians of the post-1947, the independent era of Indians are going to give to the next generation. If you see this is a garbage mountain. This garbage mountain is almost as tall as Taj Mahal. And now, in this garbage mountain, if you see, 15 to 20% is plastics. 60 to 70% is biodegradable, bio-waste, kitchen waste or whatever. And then maybe another 5 to 10% of debris. But then the plastics will stay for next 500 years. And this is not just one mountain. There are thousands of such mountains across India. Maybe this is one of the biggest. We have 4,000 cities. So imagine the garbage dumps we would be having, the landfills we would have across India. We should do something about it. Now, here is where I was looking for a solution, and I came to my home away from home, which is Taiwan. I studied my PhD in National Chengchi University, Taipei, and when I was doing my PhD back in 2002, I heard about Tzu Chi. There was a big news about Tzu Chi at that point of time, and I started following Tzu Chi from then on. I started learning about Tzu Chi from then on. Then in the year 2013, I had the opportunity to come to Taiwan on Taiwan study camp. It's a MOFA fellowship for leaders from South Asia. I had this opportunity to come to Taiwan. I was taken to Taichung, where I was introduced to the Tzu Chi facility in Taichung. There I saw Da Ai Company. There I saw the products of Da Ai Company. Then I had this in mind that if in Taiwan there is a solution. So then I knew if I want to do something about this plastic waste, I must come to Taiwan and I must come to Tzu Chi. So when I applied for the Taiwan fellowship, MOFA fellowship 2019, I straight applied to Tzu Chi University requesting them if they would give me an opportunity, Tzu Chi Foundation, if they would give me an opportunity to come to Tzu Chi and do this research work. Thankfully, Tzu Chi University and Tzu Chi Foundation were very kind to me, and they gave me this opportunity to come to Taiwan and study what Tzu Chi has done. So I'm going to run through the next few slides, which I believe all of you are aware of, so I'm not going to spend much time on what it is all about, but I will briefly say, of course, Master's kindness and compassion and love have touched millions of lives. And so, if you want to see what Tzu Chi Foundation has done to the environment, you can say almost out of the 17 Sustainable Developmental Goals, 8 of these Sustainable Developmental Goals were touched by Tzu Chi's environmental initiative. Now, the bedrock, the bottom line, the human face of Tzu Chi's environmental initiative are these volunteers. This is a picture I took from Tzu Chi's recycling center in Hualien. And if you see this lady, I have seen her morning to evening, almost 7 to 8 hours, sitting in this one single spot and sorting out this. You would be surprised to see the kind of commitment of these people. Today, Tzu Chi, which started in the 1990s, which started its environmental initiative in the 1990s with just one person when Master went to Taichung and said, if these clapping hands could collect the garbage, this country would be cleaner. From that moment onwards, what Tzu Chi has done today is it has over 200,000 volunteers, over 8,500 collection points, and over 250 recycling stations. And what has this initiative done? It has recycled, just in 2018 alone, over 3 million bottles. And of course the numbers are out here, and I'm sure if you go to the website, if you go to the books published by reports of Tzu Chi, you will find all that, so I'm not going to elaborate. However, this is the amount of trees, 28 million trees, which have been saved from cutting. So that is the amount of work that Tzu Chi's environmental contribution, that Tzu Chi's environmental initiative has done to our Mother Earth. Now, the human face of it is amazing. If you see the people who are working there, who I would say who are volunteering there, and if you learn from them their stories, they are so heartrending and touching. I had the good fortune to meet some of them. I would like to thank Brother Jason for all the support he had given. I had the opportunity to talk to some of these beautiful people here. Professor Cindy just spoke about how the environmental initiative has contributed to the physical and mental health of the people. These people have gone through trauma, which we wouldn't want to, we wouldn't really want to face in life. The amount of trauma they have gone through, each one of them, who have gone through, one losing a child, one losing entire family, losing everything that someone had earned all his life, things like that, trauma which is very painful to go through. And these people have come back to the normal life. Not only that, they are contributing for the next generation. And all this has been possible because of compassion and because of all the guidance they have received from Tzu Chi, from the Master and the Bodhisattvas. This is one. And then, well, we have collected a lot of plastics, but what to do with them? We can't throw them away, we can't burn them away. We should do something with that. Now, Tzu Chi's disaster relief, which has been giving away blankets, they started making blankets with the help of experts from textiles and other industries. So 5 volunteers came together, started DAI. And this company, actually, it also does global warming. but of a different kind. What it does is global heartwarming, which is a welcoming thing to do. If you see here, these blankets, these are made out of PET bottles, and these blankets are given away to people who are struck by disaster. We all have seen this picture from life. World War II, there is this young Austrian orphan boy who receives his new pair of shoes, and look at the smile in his face. And that's what you see when people receive the warmth and love in the form of blankets. So when I met Brother James, the CEO of the company, he handed over a blanket to me like this. And then he said, "This is not a piece of cloth. This is love. This is compassion. When we give this to a person who is hit by a disaster, what he is receiving is not a piece of cloth. He is receiving hope. He is receiving love. And this love comes from all the people of Taiwan." So, the central message is very clear. We are talking about creating a society that would love, that would be compassionate. And that is the way to go to create a society, an environment, a globe which is at peace with itself. More, the company produces not just from your PET to blankets, but what happens to the blankets after they have been used? Should they be burnt? No. You can recycle that plastic. So recycle to recycle, and so make glasses like these. Make products like these, which is art to art. Further, responsible consumption. If you see colored dresses, they use dye, and the dye is not environmental friendly. So therefore, the company promotes responsible consumption by producing products that are like these. They may look colorless, but they are the best for the environment. So that shows the responsible attitude that the company has, that the institution has towards environment. And of course, you have transparency. Every single product has the listing like this. So when was it a bottle, and when was it pelletized, and when was it made a thread, and when it became a product. So you can see when you buy a shirt. Yesterday I had to buy a shirt. When I bought this, I found this label. So in 2013, this was a bottle. 2013, this was a bottle. And it was transformed to a garment in 2014, October. So there is this history that brings confidence, that shows the transparency of the company. And of course, the company has received several third-party global certifications. I'm not even talking about the awards the company has received. It will take half an hour to list those awards the company has rightfully received. Now, one more very interesting initiative by the Searching Foundation is, what happens to all the cloth? It is believed that we dump millions of tons of cloth fabric every year. What happens to all that? So Master had raised a concern. We should do something about it. And so today the company is doing this. This is a type of wood plastic in which 40% is fabric. Or you have this, you can see it, the design itself. This is fabric, threads. And these threads, these sheets are used to make things like these. This is a shelter. And this shelter is right now at Chingsi aboard. This is being experimented upon. Apparently they have put it up in the open to see how the sun and the rain affects it. And so therefore, as a company, NAI promotes ecological production, ecological mindset, reduces carbon footprints, and it creates a global society through compassion and love. Yet another initiative that I found very interesting was the Chingsi Pure Land Technologies. You wouldn't believe, yesterday Brother Tsai was here, he explained about the process. There are 8 billion of these cups being used in Taiwan. 8 billion of these. For a population of 23 million, 8 billion of these are used per year. Now, these could be converted into such eco-pavers, and if we were to convert all these 8 billion, we will be able to pave 225 acres of land every year. So that is the beauty of this initiative. If at all we could make these things out of the plastics, if we could develop some ways to create these meridians, if we could make platforms, if we could make these things, then we will be able to get more plastics out from the environment and put them into products which will be kept in the environment, which will be less harmful to Mother Earth. Because if it is in the form of a paper cover, it's going to a landfill and it's going to be burned someday, or it's going to pollute that place. But if these technologies could be used to make things like these are road meridians. So each one single eco-paver can take up 1.7 kilograms of waste, 350 of those cups. But here it can take up thousands and thousands more. So therefore, we will be in a position to clean up the environment. So, coming back, do I have a solution? Yes, I think, I believe, I do. And the solution is to, if a network of social enterprises built on the model of Suchi's environmental initiatives is established across India, we will be able to get rid of these plastic mountains in the next 10 to 20 years. I hope to work very closely with Suchi to implement these ideas. I just need a few more seconds. Sorry. Now, to talk about it, in India, is it possible? It is possible. We have a Prime Minister. In 2014, the first Independence Day speech he gave, he talked about Clean India. In the past 5 years, 90 million toilets have been built across India. 93% of Indians today have access to gas connections. So this initiative started by the Prime Minister of India is changing the landscape of the country. Very recently, he has said that a single-use plastics ban would be initiated across India from October 2nd, that is next week, in another 10 days' time, which is the birthday of Mahatma Gandhi. On that day, from then on, the government is going to ban single-use plastics across the country. And very recently, he had initiated this plastic sorting process across the country. So therefore, India is changing, and there is a very good opportunity that we will be able to implement it. As a professor, as a person who is interested in environmental activities, I am running an NGO. I run an NGO where I give children cover, soil and seeds and raise saplings out of it. This I have been doing it over 10 years. You can see a teacher, you can see children watering the covers. They do it for, yes sir, I am done. You can see children watering the saplings. They grow for 8 months. After the saplings have grown this big, these saplings will be taken up and planted elsewhere. So I have been doing this activity for the past 10 years. I worked with nearly 100 schools. We have raised about 150,000 saplings. I'm just one single man, and so it's not a big thing, but this is the work I have done. I'm going back to India. I will be going back in October again. When I go back to India, I intend to start in each of the schools where I have been doing this work, the plastic sorting centers. So I'm going to start that activity. So, and these saplings which are raised that way or given to NGOs and that are planted across the state. So this is the work I have done. And now when I go back, this is my NGO. When I go back, I'll be doing this activity. And I hope I will report back in the 6th Suchi Forum the progress of my work. I would like to sincerely thank the Suchi Foundation, Suchi University, Taipei Technologies, Jingsi Pure Land Technologies for all the support and the people who have supported me all along. Thank you so much.
Thank you for President Alagu's sharing and 时间现在确实已经有点慢了。从我的 timetable 看起来，现在应该是 tea time， 我们应该不坐在这里才对。那茶应该很快冷了，所以我是不是可以这样建议啊？是不是因为所有的演讲者都等一下也会去加入这个 tea time 嘛？那大家是不是有任何问题的时候，我们在 tea time 的时候就直接跟他们请益，这样会不会是比较好？好，如果大家可以的话，就拍手同意好不好？好，民主的各位，对 ，OK，before we go for break, again we would like to follow your beat, give them a big hand to stand for their contribution and sharing. Thank you.
Okay, thanks to all the presenters and the moderator for the insightful panel discussion. And no, the next section is not tea time. We actually are going to continue our group discussion. 感恩各位发表人为我们做完整的解说。人类与地球环境的永续这个阶段的讨论呢，虽然是2个单元，第一个单元呢是在早上，那第2个单元是在下午。虽然是同样的议题，都提到了永续的重要，但其实呢是分成2个单元。The sustainability